there's something about the image of Flora in the painting. Something.
Let's ask her about it.
Ya no nos va a responder.
Charming, isn't it? Yes.
Vamos a hacer
Built
esto
by the
antes
Remington
de
family
pasar a la
originally.
sospecha.
Dear Flora's father and his associates.
But now it's owned by you? By the Fellow family?
The Fellows and the Pointers have both come to claim a certain degree of ownership.
And who named it Tangle Tower?
Flora chose the name.
What does it mean?
I think it was her intention that it mean nothing at all. Something of a fresh start.
From what?
This really isn't for me to say, but she had some kind of disagreement with her siblings.
Yo creo que no habla
After they
porque
moved
sus
away,
hermanos ya no están,
Flora
pero-
changed the name of the house. I think perhaps she hoped it would make them feel unwelcome, is less likely to come back.
No
That's
creo.
kind of extreme.
Yes, it is rather, isn't it?
No me caes bien.
What's this?
It's my case file. It's how I know what I'm supposed to be doing.
You mean to say you're bound by the limits of what's written in this little document? Sounds dreadful.
I find it comforting.
That looks like it might belong to Poppy. Flora's quite fond of that old thing. It's in poor shape, though.
Do you know what happened to it?
Can't say I do. That looks like it might belong to Poppy. It's unlike her to leave paint on the brush.
I think we'll give her a pass,
La
given the
mataron mientras
circumstances.
pintaba, pavo.
Ah, yes. So we shall. Looks like Freya's paints.
Do you know why the pots are cracked down one side?
No, that's very odd. They're normally in excellent condition.
You seem pretty sure about that.
Claro, porque tus tarros están en excelentes condiciones y los de ella no, ¿verdad? Ergo le cambiaste los tarros.
My daughter Fiona and her best friend.
Sospecho de él
They grow
muy
up
fuerte.
so fast.
Do you know why it's ripped like that?
Ah, yes. I didn't even notice. No idea. That's one of Freya's paintings, is it not? It's impressive, but a little miserable for my tastes. Freya was quite the talent. She had a way of capturing the spirits of her subjects.
Lo de que
Not in an
sospechas lo ha dejado muy
evil
claro
way,
varias
in a
veces.
good
Sí.
way.
The statue was up in the rooftop garden.
Yes, it's been there a while. You can see the brass is slightly tarnished by the elements, but it's not too bad. Might be salvageable. I've never been one for music. Why not ask Poppy instead? Oh dear,
Do you know who this is?
not a clue.
Ya, ya.
Now this is still in very good condition, apart from the crack, of course.
What about those shards on the inside of the horn?
Looks like somebody broke a glass and was trying to conceal the evidence. Cunning. I've never seen that before. Looks valuable.
Fuiste a la habitación.
That looks like it might belong to Fitz. Why don't you ask Fiona about that one? Looks like her area of expertise.
Quiero decir, sabiendo que Flora no va a hablar con nadie, él pudo matar a Freya,
Why would
bajar las
someone lock
escaleras
up a
como
book
dijo,
like that?
esconderse en su
We think
habitación,
it's a secret
esperar a
diary.
escuchar ruido,
Aha!
esconder el arma homicida si es la
Teenagers
paleta en la
are
habitación
funny,
del tío
aren't they?
y fingir que está buscando
Is that a clue? Really?
el origen del ruido que había
might be.
escuchado.
Bizarre things, aren't they? Penelope seems rather attached to them.
Ay,
Do you not feel sorry for them in that little cage?
Come now, I'm sure they could leave
Yo creo que me
if they
faltan
really
ítems por
wanted
encontrar
to. Goodness me! That looks like it might belong to Fitz.
So, about this paint we found in your room.
Nothing suspicious about it. I used it to paint, obviously. Totally normal thing to do.
Ya, ya.
We never said it was suspicious.
Come on then, out with it. What exactly are you accusing me of?
Ya quería que hicieses este momento de clip. ¿Este momento de clip? ¿Qué momento de clip?
It's not your paint pot. Did you take it from somewhere else?
What on earth? It's definitely mine.
Atent.
I even have proof. Look, the lid matches the ones on all my other paint pots. End of discussion.
That's not the end of the
Estamos
discussion.
intentando
We
resolver
need a clue
un
to compare
asesinato.
with Felix's red paint. Something to prove who it actually belongs to. Let's take a closer look at this. Freya's red paint pot was stolen and replaced with Felix's red paint pot, but the lids were swapped to hide it.
That red paint is from Freya Supplies, not yours. Swapping the lids doesn't hide what you did.
Why are you bothering me about paint anyway? And none of this is connected to your murder.
Gracias por ese hostillo premium, Gatet. ¿Por qué has intercambiado un tarro de pintura roja de Freya con tu tarro de pintura roja que le has dado a Freya y al que luego resulta ser que tiene sangre dentro? ¿Por qué? Cuéntame qué va. A ver, hemos llegado a un edificio muy extraño en el que ha ocurrido un asesinato.
This red paint pot had been emptied of all its
Entonces
red
estamos
paint
interrogando a
before
toda la
Freya
familia
used it to
en
paint
busca
Flora.
de,
Nope.
de la verdad, básicamente. Primera hipótesis completa del crimen.
This red paint pot was used to fill up blood before Freya used it to paint Flora. Almost. Maybe just...
¿Qué tengo mal? Esto.
This red paint pot was somehow filled with blood
Primera hipótesis
before
completa
Freya
del crimen.
used it to
Eso era lo
paint
que
Flora.
querías, Galán.
Oh, that's definitely something. Right.
Porque hay sangre en el
Fine.
tarro.
Here's the
Era tuyo.
story. I was busy working on a project when I suddenly realized I had run out of red paint. There was a certain amount of time pressure.
Es
So
muy
I
sospechoso
politely
este
asked
señor.
Freya if I could
Muy
borrow
sospechoso.
hers. Just for a little while, you know. Perfectly reasonable request.
But she said no.
I tried to explain why I needed it, but she didn't seem to care.
Tangle Tower, Gatet.
Well, I took
Me lo canjeó
Freya's
Galán,
red paint
efectivamente.
pot and swapped it with my own empty one.
You went into her room?
Not my proudest moment, but it's just paint. I didn't touch anything else.
And the paint pot you left behind was definitely empty?
Quite. I have absolutely no idea how it
Yeah,
got
yeah, yeah.
blood in it, if that's what you're asking.
Why were you in such a hurry to get a hold of red paint anyway?
I was trying to finish this in time for Flora's birthday. I needed red to paint the final details.
Could you not have just used a different color?
Out of the question. It had to be red and white.
If you managed to finish it, why haven't you given it to Flora yet?
Well, I decided against it in the end. After what happened, seemed a bit insensitive.
No nos va a responder, pero...
So, this painting, specifically that knife in
Que no es un
Flora's
cuchillo.
hand,
Yeah, it's creepy. But we didn't find a knife anywhere in the room. So what's going on?
Similar a Bradin, ya lo he dicho.
It's not a knife. We need a clue to compare with the painting. Something to explain what that knife shape actually is. Let's take a closer look at this.
Do what you want, 'cause a pirate is free. You are a pirate. Your fidelity. Being a pirate is a wretched thing. Do what you want, 'cause a pirate is free. You are a pirate.
Muchas gracias por darle esa suscripción de regalo a
The
Galángatet.
painted knife is actually just a feather from an ink-dip bird.
It's definitely
Y
the
cuando
right
quería
shape,
canjearme un juego le
but the
os
book's not in
preguntó
color.
qué tipo de
The
juego me
thing
podría
Flora's
gustar.
holding in the painting is red and white, specifically. Is there anything to suggest that the ink dip bird is red and white too?
Correcto. Esto.
This little thing? I don't understand why Felix would make a model of this bird
Porque le
as
gustan
part
los
of a gift
pájaros.
for Flora. And come to think of it, why would Flora be holding a feather in the painting anyway?
Porque le gustan los pájaros.
The ink-dip bird was Flora's pet, so she
La
kept
clase de juego
a
que te
single
va.
feather to remember it by.
She kept the bird as a pet.
Clavao.
And it died?
Maybe it flew away.
Flora spends all her time staring out the window.
Either way, she kept the feather. I think it was pretty important to her.
All right. So she was holding the feather while Freya was painting her. But where is it now?
La prota es la que
You
pone el
think she'd
cerebro en
keep
la
it somewhere
operación
close
porque el
by?
detective desde luego.
Yeah, I think she does. Normally, this is where Flora usually keeps her feather.
But we opened it. It's empty.
Mm-hmm.
Sí, porque cogió la
Completely
pluma para recrear el cuadro. O sea, para posar para el cuadro.
Flora? She's pointing at something in the corner of the room.
It's just a pile of books. They're not... Wait, there's something tucked inside this one.
¡Ay, qué mono! Pajarito. Ah, me tienen que faltar por lo menos 2 ítems. Vale. Flora no tenía razones para matar a Freya. Bueno, tenía que haber hablado con Flora otra vez.
These drawings are quite precious. I'm surprised Flora let you see them.
What happened to the bird? Did it die?
I don't know. Seems likely, though, doesn't it?
¿Qué pasa al pájaro?
I like these drawings, Flora.
Is there a reason why you wanted us to see them?
El silencio.
Freya drew these,
Yeah, I think so. There's a note on the back.
but she never showed them to me.
Well, I think it was a gift for your mother. Like a private thing between Freya and Flora.
¿Tendrá algo que ver con el tipo de pájaro? Hola, señor.
Nice painting. Gives you a pretty good idea of the layout.
The lake looks like it forms a perfect circle around the island.
It might seem strange to you, but nature is quite capable of producing perfectly geometric forms.
And those mountain cliff things around the outside?
We don't know much about them. They're unscalable. Not even Freya could have gone up there.
What's that?
this painting, it's speculative. There are no photographs from this angle as far as I know.
So Freya just made it up.
Let's call it an informed estimation. Who gave you that information?
Well...
We don't
Palabras
actually know
para qué?
who it was. We were contacted anonymously.
I see. And what happens if the person who contacted you turns out to be the murderer?
I never thought about that.
Honestly, that would be kind of fun. Like a twist, you know?
That looks like it might belong to Poppy. That belongs to Poppy.
So why is it up in Flora's tower?
I'm not sure. That looks like it might belong to Poppy. Penelope knows about birds. You should ask her instead.
Actually, I wanted to ask you about something. There's a plant mentioned on this page, see? Do you have any? In the greenhouse?
No, I don't grow that anymore. I've tried, in the past. It's incredibly difficult, even for me. I could never get it to live more than
Espera,
a
hay dos
couple of
plantas de
weeks.
esas arriba, ¿no? La
That's
habitación de
Fifi
Flora.
and Freya.
Don't you think Poppy should be in the photo too?
Maybe, maybe not. She doesn't really like crowds.
2 people isn't a crowd.
Right, but if she was in the photo, then it'd be 3.
Checkmate.
That's quite sweet, really. Felix made that? Huh. Paints are different to flowers.
I'd say so, yeah.
At any time, flowers can bloom with perfect, faultless colors. Red, blue, white. With paint, once you've tainted a color by mixing it with others, not even the most skilled painter can return it to its pure form. There's something off about this.
What is it?
Why don't you take another look at Flora's room?
You think we missed a clue up there?
Not exactly. Looks like someone doesn't want you to read that book.
That's the main thing making me want to read it.
De hecho, ya lo hemos leído.
You ever
No
seen
sale
this
como que está
before,
abierto.
Fitz?
No, but I don't normally go into Fifi's room.
That's not where we found it.
Oh, I just thought it looks like it belongs to her.
Any idea who this is?
No idea. Poppy's piano music. I remember when she started learning. She's improved a lot since then.
Yeah, that's generally how it works.
Right. Of course. Did Freya draw these?
Yep.
Yeah. There's a note in the back, too.
She was even closer to Flora than I realized.
Supongo que se sentirían las dos unas extrañas dentro de la
Penelope's 3
familia.
favorite birds. She's very protective over them.
Are they, like, her
Me
pets?
recuerda a una serie, el estilo
Do they
de
have
dibujo.
names?
Oh, they have names. Penelope loves to name things.
Do you remember what she named them?
I do not.
We found these up in the rooftop garden. Do you know how long they've been there?
No, it could have been a long time. We don't ever really clear up the rooftop garden.
Why not?
Nature is unruly. In truth, it prefers to be left alone.
Ay, mierda, ¿no?
So, Fitz, I have a report that you were seen sneaking up Pointer Tower.
Un cuchillo.
Holding a knife.
That's not right. I don't go into Pointer Tower. I don't own a knife. And I don't sneak. Was it Fifi who told you this?
How did you know that?
A guess. She doesn't like me very much. But yeah, she was mistaken. Maybe she wasn't wearing her eye lens thing.
What do you think, Grimoire?
Fifi did see Fitz, but he was holding something else.
So, if it wasn't a knife, what was it?
La paleta.
What about this?
Ah, that.
Is it yours?
It was a gift. It's sentimental. I have no reason to take it up Pointer Tower. I don't use it at all.
An ornate trowel is
Vale.
used by Fitz to look after a potted flower in Penny's room.
That flower.
Yes?
I've never seen it before.
We need a
Ajá.
clue to compare to that flower. Something that proves its connection to Fitz.
Algo que demuestra la conexión con Fitz. La tierra azul.
Let's take a closer look at these.
Sí, ¿no?
The pot and soil in Penny's room matches the pot and soil found in the garden, almost. Maybe just change. The pot and soil in Penny's room matches the pot and soil found in Fitz's greenhouse. Let me guess. Penny's
Que hemos
flower was
descubierto que no me he
originally a gift
podido
from you,
atender mientras
Fitz.
saltaba
There's
con la
no
arma.
way it's a
Que
coincidence.
Flora y Freya estaban
no
muy
way, what's a
unidas.
coincidence?
The flower. It looks exactly like Penny.
It took me a long time to breed. I wanted the colors to be exactly right.
That's
No.
some gift.
No en ese aspecto.
Turns out Penny isn't particularly interested in looking after plants. So I go into her room every now and again when she's not there. Water the flower, change the soil. Just trying to keep it alive.
Con calma que sacas pistas demasiado rápido, coño. ¿Me quieres que le haga? Pero...
Tangle Tower. No idea why they insist on calling it that. It's not even a tower.
Tienes que ponerle
It's
juegos más
little more
difíciles.
than a pair of turrets stuck on either side of a mansion.
Have you searched the whole place?
I believe so. Why?
He wants to know if you found any secret rooms.
Huh. I'm afraid the residents of Tangle Tower are far too ordinary for anything like
Me ha
that.
quedado claro.
I was disappointed too. You truly consider this a case file?
What's wrong with it?
No organization, no system.
That's my style. I like seeing everything laid out at once. Yeah, it helps me think.
How quaint. Where'd you dig that up?
It wasn't buried.
De la fuente.
It was underwater.
Someone trying to conceal evidence, perhaps? A somewhat cumbersome device, and an altogether inefficient way to listen to music.
What kind of music do you like, Hawkshaw?
I like anything.
What a cop-out.
I believe that was in Flora's room yesterday, but it was not cracked when I saw it last. A book from the
¿Alguien se cargó el
library,
gramófono?
one of hundreds, no doubt. What makes this one special?
It's about birds.
Yes, I see that. A photograph of Freya. Could be important. These figurines remind me of a case I once solved involving a possessed doll. Turned out to be a bit of a smokescreen, as these things often do.
Your life sounds fun. Grimoire, why don't we ever have fun adventures like that?
Are we not having a fun adventure right at this very moment?
These
Mierda.
figurines remind me of a kid. I'd tell him not to quit his day job, but he hasn't got one, has he? Paints?
Yep.
Paints.
Mm-hmm.
The paint is still wet.
Yeah, well, we know Freya was in the middle of painting when she was killed.
Fitz
Do
dice
you know
que nos
that?
falta algo en la
How?
habitación de
Because you
Flora.
were told?
¿La planta? Buenas, Pablo.
A diary. Have you read it?
Not yet.
¿Cómo que no?
It's locked.
And you haven't attempted to force it open?
That would be cheating. This belongs to you, Hawkshaw?
Correct.
And, what is it?
It's my handheld microscope for up-close investigation work.
What do you magnify with it?
Trace particles, dust, oils, clothing fibers.
Have you used it here at Tangle Tower?
I have. I used it to examine the greenhouse only 2 days ago.
What were you looking for?
That is between myself and my client.
Ya sabemos quién es tu cliente.
The people here are
estás
surprisingly
buscando.
materialistic, considering how sheltered they are.
Materialistic?
Growing this fruit simply because it produces a gemstone-like material. For what possible purpose, other than financial gain?
You're
¿Qué tal, Pablo?
speculating.
¿Cómo va tu sábado?
What would you do, Grimoire, if you could grow valuable stones straight from the earth? This is a potential murder weapon, is it not?
Pues lo-
I don't know. I don't think the murderer would leave the murder weapon just lying around.
I think you'd be surprised as to what people leave lying around. Who's that?
Not sure. It doesn't really look like anyone we've met so far.
Strange.
Me mola
Is
cómo la
that a
tía
clue?
coge y suelta
Dunno.
pollitas.
It was important enough to be framed, though.
I framed my law degree doesn't make it a clue.
Same? Yeah?
One of 3 statues depicting the same creature. This one is wearing headphones. Perhaps they belong to someone who likes music.
They're not headphones. They're earmuffs. For blocking out sound.
Perhaps they belong to someone who doesn't like music. Do you also have a pile of leaves as a clue?
Well, not yet. Did you see some suspicious leaves?
3 birds, 1 cage. What makes them worth keeping cooped up, I wonder? Would they not be happier flying free?
But then they might fly away from Tangle Tower entirely.
I wonder if they would. These people really are ridiculous, aren't they? And you consider that important evidence, do you? Does Flora still own that bird? Do you know?
Don't think so. The drawings are from a few years ago.
I see. Where did you find this?
Do you have any theories about where this might have been?
Or who might have had it.
I have several theories, but they are my theories, and I'm not going to share them.
There's something about Hawkshaw's handheld something suspicious.
Let's ask her about
En el
it.
microscopio.
This little microscope thing? You said you used it to search the greenhouse.
And this would make perfect sense, if you knew what my client had asked me to find. Of course,
Javi,
I
traduce
still
el
have no
último que has
intention of
puesto, por favor.
disclosing that information.
You're such a tease, Hawkshaw. Don't worry. We already worked out what you're searching for.
Tu última frase ahora mismo es más misterio que el juego este.
You're not as hopeless as you look.
Thanks.
So, that's what you were looking for in the greenhouse? This beetle?
Surely even you can understand the logic of it. The greenhouse is home to a great many insects. The gardener could have easily kept the beetle hidden in there.
Well, Fitz said you questioned him, but didn't actually search the greenhouse.
He is not exactly the type to appreciate subtlety. He
Puedes
simply
gastar
didn't
tus
notice
puntos,
that I was
Galán.
using
Bueno,
my
si no los
microscope.
tienes, puedes
What do you
pedírselos a
reckon,
alguien.
Grimoire?
I know for a fact she didn't use the microscope in the greenhouse. It's not a microscope at all.
All of a sudden, Detective Grimoire is some kind of expert on microscopes.
¿Por qué sabemos que no es un microscopio? Porque es parte de un telescopio.
The handheld microscope, according to Fifi, uses a telescopic lens, so Hawkshaw lied about it. I'm inclined to believe
Ah, te refieres a Javi.
Fifi when it comes to stuff like this.
Vale, vale, vale. vale.
Hawkshaw, why
Javi
did you
creo que
lie
sí
about
tiene
owning a
canjeo de
telescope?
puntos para juegos, Galán.
When you were a child, what did you aspire to become?
A detective? Naturally.
Emperor of the Galaxy?
I wanted to be an astronomer.
Really?
I harbored a desire to understand the secrets of the wider universe. A fool's errand, to be sure, but a seductive one. At 15, I decided instead
te
to
refieres
apply
a
my
Sefi.
intelligence to the world around me. And
Es
so,
que antes de,
I became a detective.
desde el mensaje de
But the
Sefi hasta el
yearning for
tuyo ha
elusive
escrito
knowledge is a
Javi.
powerful force. I tried to keep it with me.
¿Qué juego le quieres recomendar a Sefi?
Sorry, but we're way off track. What's the deal with the little telescope?
A memento from my childhood. Little more than a toy.
Me lo puedes recomendar
Why
igual,
did you bring
eso
it
lo
with
digo.
you?
When I discovered that it was Professor Pointer who had hired me, I dared to consider it something of a planetary alignment. I had hoped he might sign my telescope. An extremely childish indulgence, I admit.
I never would have guessed.
Hold on. You're admitting you didn't use it in the greenhouse then?
Correct. As it happens, I have no need to search the greenhouse to such a degree. Professor Pointer doesn't consider the gardener a suspect in our theft investigation.
So, who is your suspect?
Things have become complicated. My lead suspect is your murder victim.
Vamos.